5 wide receiver prospects for the Browns to target in the draft. First one, now you wrote an article for this as well, so take us through this. Jaylen Pyke, a guy from Washington, saw him in the national championship game with the Huskies.
Yeah, there are 3 really good wide receivers coming out of Washington. Rome Odunze is going to go well before the Browns are on the board at 55. But I'm looking for dynamic playmakers, and Jaylen Pyke fits right into that. Can attack you from the inside, can attack you from the outside. The Browns are kind of back and forth on who is their slot receiver, who isn't. He's got that downfield vertical speed to stretch to stretch a defense vertically. He can take the top off of it, but he also makes really good plays in space, has some reliable hands, and I just think they're looking to get more dynamic, and if you added someone like Jaylen Pyke, you would do that.
Another guy that you mentioned in this, and again, these are all guys that would be second round where the Browns pick or later potentially. Xavier Worthy from Texas.
Ooh, now that's a field stretcher right there. Like, if you're absolutely committed to get me some dude that can line up on the outside, run a go route, and just smoke some people, Xavier Worthy is your man. He's a smaller wide receiver, not a crazy diverse route tree or anything of that nature, but he forces missed tackles in the open field. He's really good in the screen game. I think it's kind of an underrated aspect of his game for a guy that is a little bit on the smaller side. I don't think he's going to ever necessarily be a complete wide receiver, and he's not a wide receiver 1, but for the role the Browns are going to look for in this draft, in my opinion, that's what you get in Xavier Worthy, and it's just speed, and more speed.
Another guy that's a little undersized, Michigan wide receiver, Roman Wilson. You can catch him in the Senior Bowl coming up this weekend.
He is having a week down in Mobile, Alabama, and so I'm really excited to talk about him at this episode of the show, just because he's already been having the week that he's had going into it. I don't think you're going to find many wide receivers in this class more explosive than Roman Wilson. He's kind of been handicapped a little bit in the offense that he's in terms of his production numbers. They're kind of held back by the fact that Michigan has been more of a smash mouth down the field. It kind of reminds you when Donovan Peoples-Jones was coming out, and you were like, well, they didn't really throw the ball. At least in Roman Wilson's case, he had a quality quarterback throwing in the ball. But when they were looking for big plays in the passing game, J.J. McCarthy found Roman Wilson. I think he's probably the best pure slot. I think that's really where he projects at the next level, is more out of a slot wide receiver. Again, needs to work on his route tree, but big, strong, reliable hands. And I think if you have a chance to bring him along, he's just one of the better separators in this draft, with really good body control, gets in and out of his breaks a lot, and again, has some speed.
Well, another guy, and this guy's from Alabama. It seems like we're always talking about Alabama wide receivers this time of year. Germaine Burton from Alabama this year.
Yeah, there's where you get into what are the Browns going to look for? Are they going to look for a fast guy with size? Because if that's where they're going, Germaine Burton's that guy from Alabama. I mean, he's a bigger wide receiver, but he still is that dynamic playmaker that can get vertical in a hurry. He kind of is in the same ilk as South Carolina's Xavier Legette, a bigger guy that moves really well for his size. Burton has the size and physicality to go up for the contested ball situations, but can also be dynamic in the open field, create missed tackles, and pull coverage over to his side because of his frontline vertical speed. The Browns have shown us they like these bigger wide receivers, so they may actually target a guy like Burton more because he has the speed and size element. Although, again, he's somebody that needs a little bit of time, but I do think he has wide receiver 1 upside.
Last guy we'll talk about from Western Kentucky, Malachi Corley.
Malachi Corley, a lot of people want to give you the Deebo Samuel kind of comparisons, that he is that kind of guy. Western Kentucky just had to find a way to get Malachi Corley the ball. That's when you think about that, smaller school, I know at Western Kentucky, but when you talk about a guy that an offense understood, hey, I have got to find a way to get the ball into his hands. He's kind of had a rough Senior Bowl. It's been a little bit of ups and downs as he kind of adjusts to, higher competition, but he's shown you the things that you like to see: reliable hands, gets in and out of his breaks, good body control. He has good straight line speed. It's not going to blow the top off of the defense, but his ability to run the ball out of the slot, go out wide, run those screens. He's got some power, some pep in his step and some power. And I think he's just kind of a blend of size, speed, and playmaking. A project player, in my opinion. Is probably a third-round pick. But if you're looking for that guy that can do a little bit of everything, then Malachi Corley's the guy.